I've always been... My hair's tickling me and I keep thinking it's a spider. Hi everybody, my name is Rosalie. Welcome back to my channel, back to Chubby. Today's another Do It With Me weight loss, so I am going to meal prep. But first I want to say thank you guys for all of your great questions in the comments on my last video. I asked for questions for my upcoming Q&A, which will be this Friday. And there were some great questions. There were also a lot of comments about how a lot of you actually really liked this wallpaper. So there is going to be a sort of office tour video coming up, but like, this isn't really my style, but like the paper itself is not the issue. I'll show you when I upload that video, hopefully on Wednesday, why eventually it's gonna have to come down. Anyway, I actually have a question for you before I go any further. As you know, on my blog, backtochubby.wordpress.com, I try and put up my meal plans and shopping information and nutrition information every week. And I also put a link to the video, or I embed the video rather, on that page as well so you can watch what I do. But the more I was thinking about it and trying to catch up with the last few weeks, this morning I realized that it seems a little bit redundant to me to do an actual like meal plan, like type out what we're having, when the nutrition information is broken up by meal so you can actually see what we're having, and the video shows you what we're having meal by meal. So my question is, do you guys think I should go ahead and keep the meal plan thing itself, or do you think that the nutritional breakdown and the video is enough to show people what we're doing, unless it's like a specific recipe that I need to link to? Because usually I also put that in the description box down below. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think I should actually keep that extra document just for people to refer to, or do you think that the two ways it's already broken down are plenty? Speaking of the nutrition breakdown, this week's meal plan has about 1,600 calories in it, which is fine for me, but it does have considerably more sodium than I would prefer, and I tried to minimize it where I could. There's just a few things that added up really quick, and the rest of it actually comes from like vegetables and stuff. For example, celery has a pretty decent amount of sodium in it. That's fine. You can see it all on my blog. I just wanted you to be aware that some of the stuff this week might be a little bit high in sodium if, like me, you are sensitive to it. Just a couple quick things before we get into the meal prep itself. First, you guys know I love me some Aldi. It's the store I go to all the time because it's affordable and it's fast and the people there are friendly. But I kid you not, literally, and not figuratively literally, but literally, our Aldi is half the size of my house. And it's got 4 aisles in it. That's it. I think there are 3 cash registers, and normally there's only 1 open. It's a tiny place, and barring one specialty Asian food store here in town, it's the smallest the smallest grocery store in town. So there's not very much of a selection, and we do have a Walmart and a Dillon's, and then a couple other 2 other local places. And our Walmart and our Dillon's, for being chains, have a surprisingly small selection, and they're both really expensive. Our Dillon's is incredibly expensive. I think you can buy a bag of apples there, like not organic or anything, just the cheap apples are almost $8, like $7.99 for a bag of apples. It's ridiculous. I recently had to stop at a grocery store on my way out of town to meet a friend, and the closest one on my way was this store called Rebels. And I had been to the store years ago quite often because it was the closest one to the college campus where I lived. And it was kind of small and dirty, and they didn't have very much of a selection, and it was kind of expensive. And so if I didn't have to walk there, I didn't go there. The other day when I stopped in for the first time in years, I was pretty pleasantly surprised. It was a lot cleaner, the people were a lot nicer, I think they were under new management. They had way more of a selection than our Walmart does, certainly, and definitely more than Dillon's. It's a tiny bit more expensive than Aldi, but in addition to having more options, it also has the opportunity for me to like buy things out of a bin instead of bags. So like if I only need 1 or 2 onions, I can buy 1 or 2 onions instead of a bag of 12 onions. My point is that I've always been so comfortable with Aldi's that I will go out of my way to go there. I always have like a quarter in my car for the shopping carts, and I will rearrange my schedule so that I can get there before they close, because they also close really early here. But I was just pleasantly surprised that I found somewhere that has exceeded my expectations and seems to have more of what I'm looking for in a store. And I guess there's really no point in sharing that other than I think it was good for me to get out of my comfort zone, because I've shopped there the past couple weeks, and now there's so many more things that I can find affordably that now I can start trying some more stuff. So it doesn't have anything to do with anything really. Moving on. The second thing I want to touch on real quick before I get to the meal prep is that a lot of you guys have mentioned in the comments that you appreciate that I will give you vegan options or alternatives even when I don't make a vegan meal. So I think that's something that I'm going to try and incorporate more of as I go forward. So that being said, I will try and give you some vegan alternatives for this week's meal prep as well, but after the actual meal prep. So let's cut to it. For breakfast, we're going to be having breakfast burritos, starting with these giant tortillas made less than an hour from here. Nutritionally, they are about the equivalent of 2 normal tortillas, but they'll make 1 big burrito. So I will layer in 2 scrambled eggs, and then I'm going to add about 1/4 of a tomato sliced up, 1/4 cup of spinach, and some feta cheese. Wrap it up, tuck in the ends, and that's it. For lunch, we needed something portable and fast, so we're going to have tuna and water, and I've chopped up some parsley and celery that I'll just store in the fridge and toss in as needed. So after draining the tuna, I'll toss in some celery and parsley and mix it in with about a tablespoon of mustard, and we're going to have an apple. For dinner, I started by prepping and cutting a whole bunch of different vegetables. You can do whatever tastes good to you, but we are going to be using purple cabbage, onion, green onion, baby corn, bean sprouts, broccoli, mushroom, zucchini, squash, and some uncured turkey sausage, which means that it doesn't have all the preservatives that can, give you cancer. Basically, I'm going to start with the firmest vegetables that take the longest to saute, cook them in a little bit of olive oil, add in some fire roasted tomatoes and garlic chili sauce, and keep stirring until the desired tenderness is met, and then serve it over rice or pasta. I have to say this is probably one of the prettiest things I've ever made. For snacks, we're going to have some cashews, carrots and hummus, and some grapes. And this is what a whole day looks like. So I think altogether that took maybe 2.5 to 3 hours with cooking and chopping and everything included. The cooking was probably 30 minutes and the other 2 hours was chopping vegetables. I do have one of those little chopper things that makes it go quite a bit faster, but there's some things it can't do, like slice tomatoes or cut up a cabbage. So as for some vegan options, for breakfast I haven't been brave enough to try it, and the store I just started shopping at is the first place I found in town that sells it, but you can actually make scrambled tofu and flavor it just a little bit to taste and give the texture of scrambled eggs. I haven't tried it because I haven't been brave enough, but I will link in the description box down below to a recipe or a video that will show you how to make it. To make vegan tuna salad, you replace the tuna with chickpeas that you put through a food processor and some avocado. And again, I will link in the description box down below to a video or a recipe for that as well. And for our dinner, the only thing that you need to swap out is the sausage. And there are ways to make carrots sort of the taste and texture of sausage. I'm not gonna say they're exactly the same thing, but one more time, I will link in the description box down below to a way to try that for you. This week I'm also going to be doing things a little bit differently for myself, and I probably recommend that you do it as well if you're going to try this meal plan. rather than making everything at once and storing it pre-portioned like I normally do, I'm only gonna make a couple days at once just because scrambled eggs don't keep very well. You can put like the breakfast burritos in the freezer if you want, but I can never seem to get them to reheat right. I don't know why. So I'm gonna make a couple days of those at once. The tuna we aren't gonna open until we need it, and I'm just gonna keep the parsley and celery prepped in a bowl in the fridge, well, like in a Tupperware bowl in the fridge. And then for dinner, I made 1 or 2 days today, and then the rest of the ingredients are already cut and prepped in a container in the fridge and divided as I need them. The main reason I've been meal prepping is because I'm lazy and I don't want to try and find the time to cook all the time, but if the prep work is already done and the actual cooking only takes like 10 to 15 minutes and it tastes fresher, then I think I will be able to make myself do it this week. I'll let you know on Friday. Just a couple quick reminders. The Q&A is Friday, so if you have some Q's for me, leave them in the comments down below, and keep an eye out for my office tour coming up sometime this week. You can find the shopping list and nutrition information for this week's meal plan on my blog, backtochubby.wordpress.com. And you can find me on social media with the username backtochubby, all one word. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see some more of my meal prep videos, or if you want to follow along with my weight loss journey, which is why I'm doing the meal prep. I hope wherever you are safe and happy and healthy. Remember to just keep trying the best you can. I will see you on Wednesday? Friday. I'll see you soon. Bye.